Okay, so I'm going to give you the lesson of the first week and second week of grade 8 mathematics, and that is actually factoring. Now, what is factoring? So factoring is actually breaking a product to its factors. Okay. Example, we have a product which is 64, and this could be equal to 8 times 8. So 64 is the product. 8 times 8 and 8 are the factors. Okay? So this is the product. This could be factored also into 4 times 16. So 4 and 16 are factors. Okay? So that's how you're going to factor a constant or a number. Now, the first type of factoring is what we call the monomial factoring method. So, how are we going to do this? So, we are going to be given a product. Okay, for example, 24x cubed minus 8x squared. Okay. In this type of factoring, we need to identify the GCF or the greatest common factor. So, how are you going to get the GCF of 24 and 8? So, you factor that by their prime factorization. So, you know that 24 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. 8 could be factored also as 2 times 2 times 2. Now, we get the common factors. Okay? So, we bring down those common factors. So, 2 times 2 times 2, that will give you 8. And this is our GCF or greatest common factor. So, 8. What about for the variable of the polynomial? We are going to take the common variable with the lowest exponent. So, of course, you have x squared. Okay? So, the variable with the lowest exponent is x squared. Now, you write that GCF as the first factor. Okay? Then you divide each term of the polynomial by this GCF. Okay? So 24 divided by 8, this will be 1, this will be 3. So 3. X squared and x cubed, mayroon isang x na maiiwan dito. Okay? So, x. Because you cancel x squared and x squared there, you have x raised to 1, which will be left there. You cancel x squared, 8x squared and 8x squared. This will be 1, this will be 1. You, of course, place their sign of operation there. And 1 divided by 1 is 1. Now, these are the factor of this polynomial, 24x cubed minus 8x squared. Okay? I'll give you one more example. Say you have 6a squared b cubed plus 18a cubed b squared. There. So again, you identify. You will see that 6 is common between 6 and 18. Because 18 could be divided by 6. Now, we get the variables with the lowest exponent. Of course, a squared. And you have also b squared. Okay? So, you divide each term by this greatest common factor. So, 6a squared b squared. Okay. You will see that this could be cancelled. A squared and a squared. B squared and b cubed. May isang maiiwan na isang b. So b plus, you divide this again by the greatest common factor. 6a squared b squared. That will give you 18 divided by 6. That will be 3a. There. Okay? So that is monomial factoring method. Now, we will proceed to the next factoring method, which is known as difference of two squares. Okay. So, difference of two squares. Let's have an example. You are going to consider perfect square here. Okay? So, x squared minus y squared. Okay. This is a very good example of a difference of two squares. Another, 9 minus a squared. 9 here is a perfect square. And so with a squared. Now, difference because they are being subtracted. Okay? So, how are you going to factor this? This is how we're going to get the factors. Okay? For difference of two squares, you just get the square root of the first term. That is x squared, and the square root is x and x. The square root of the second term, that is y and y. Then alternate their signs. Okay? Minus, plus. Or it could be interchanged. Plus, minus. There. So these are already the factor of this product. This one, get the square root of the first term, that is 3. Square root of the second term, that is a and a. Then alternate the sign, plus, minus. Okay? Oh. Alternate the sign, plus, minus. Let's have one more example. You could have also 25 x squared minus 16. Oh. So as I told you, get the square root, that is 5x. Then 4. 5x. Then 4. Then alternate the sign. Minus, plus. There. That's how we're going to get the factor of a difference of two squares. Okay? So next, we have the PST, or the perfect square trinomial. Ayan. Bakit tinawag na PST? Okay? Perfect square trinomial. So what are the characteristics of this kind of polynomial? You need to have a first term which is a perfect square. Then the last term which will be a perfect square also. Then the middle term must be the square root of the last term times the square root of the first term multiplied by 2. So you double the square root of the last term and the product of the square root of the last term and the first term, then times 2 or double it. So that would be 6 times 2, that will be 12x. Now, how are we going to get the factor of this? So this PST will have this factor. Get the square root of the first term, that is x squared, xn, x is square root of the last term, that is 6. Then follow the sign of the middle term. Follow the sign, so that is minus, minus, minus. Both are minus or yes, negative. Now, if we are going to multiply this factor, you are going to arrive to the same product. If you are going to do that and you arrive to the same product, your factors are correct. Okay? Let us see. So, let's us do it here. So, x minus 6 times x minus 6. You follow the FOIL method. First term to first term. X squared, the middle term. 6, negative 6 times x will give you negative 6x. Then the extremes, negative 6 times x will give you negative 6x also. Then negative 6 times negative 6, that will give you positive 36. So adding all of those terms, negative 6 plus negative 6 will give you negative 12x plus 36. There. We arrive to the same product. So our factors are correct. Stop now.